The time Retsu got isekai'd was insane. But before I start today's video, let me know what you think of Retsu's isekai in the comment section below. And in the start of the manga, Retsu was just chilling in space after getting bodied, and then he opened his eyes to see the view of what I believe are orcs pounding rice. And they even offered Retsu some rice cakes, and the more Retsu looked around this new world, the more he realized that this new place looks like a medieval Europe. Retsu then felt this shocking pain in his stomach, reminding him of the fact that Musashi Miyamoto had slashed his stomach in their fight, which led to Retsu being left dying with his guts hanging out of his body. Retsu was then tapped on his shoulder, and since he was so on edge in this new world, he literally just threw a punch at this random guy that tapped him on his shoulder. But he did manage to restrain himself before the punch could fully connect, and Retsu's attack still did damage just out of force alone. And it's good Retsu didn't hurt this guy badly, because it ends up this guy actually knew and admired Retsu in the Baki world. Those two then went to catch up over a drink at a tavern when all of a sudden a giant lizard man bumped into the guy spilling his drink. And this lizard guy didn't eat normal food, he ate a cockatrice, and this creature's blood is a lethal and fast-acting poison. So Retsu started sizing this guy up, and this lizard man's physical strength was a match for even Pickles. Retsu had said their fight would certainly be a death match. And the lizardman then tried to confront Retsu about Retsu staring at him. But Retsu just started roasting this lizard guy, saying he reminded him of his hometown, because in his country, crocodiles have been served as a food since ancient times, and he couldn't help but think, there are actually some crocodiles dumb enough to actually run into a restaurant. And as soon as these two were about to fight, this old man with a fishing rod interrupted them by walking between them. And he then hooked the lizardman, saying he caught a big croc, and he ended up cutting the tail off of this lizardman. The background story of this man: a long time ago, there was an island inhabited by fearsome red dragons that preyed on people. And it was said thousands of them lived at that place, and hearing those rumors, a man came to the island, wishing to test his skills with a fishing rod. And in less than one singular day, he defeated all of the thousands of red dragons, the dragon slayer, known as Gridor Istin. Retsu was thinking, so that wasn't an illusion, and this man's aura was crazy. Retsu then introduced himself and then kicked the man while asking for a fight. But the old man disappeared, which only excited Retsu even more, and he was brought to an area where he was then surrounded by soldiers. And these were not simple soldiers by any means. They were the king's guards, the most powerful force under the king's direct control. And the leader of these knights had told Retsu to be quiet while they tie him up. But my brother Retsu knows his rights, so Retsu then punched the chief in the face, making him fall face first. Toot it up!
Oh my god.
And at first it looked like the chief had gotten back up, but no, it ends up the old guy from before had used his fishing rod to control the chief's body, just like a puppeteer. And when this old man arrived, everybody in attendance besides Retsu was nervous. And he was here because the king had told him to retrieve Retsu. And he told Retsu he is coming one way or another. And he then made a valid point: no right to arrest you. Didn't you kick an elderly man and made an entire tavern panic just the other day? And Retsu was like, damn, you're right. So Retsu then went with the old man to meet the king. And after meeting the king, he was put in a spell and transported to a place. And this place contains a crazy strong beast that has destroyed villages, a 9-headed king hydra. Retsu was then attacked by this giant beast, and Retsu was actually holding his own. And when Retsu was bitten on his shirt, he took off his shirt and actually used his shirt to pull the Hydra's teeth out. Which brings up the question, who made this man's shirt? Batman? How is his shirt so strong? But it didn't stop there. Retsu used their fangs as kunai, and Retsu then jumped into the air like a snake's #1 op, a hawk. And with 4 out of 9 of the heads remaining, Retsu easily took out these remaining heads. But this was not the end, because the Hydra's heads come back even stronger. This was the Hydra's true power, and they continued attacking Retsu, with Retsu dodging and still doing great against this Hydra. He then hit the finishing blow by striking the Hydra and knocking it back, which made the Hydra bump into the wall, leading to giant boulders falling on and crushing the Hydra. However, that was not even close to being the strongest creature in this world. There was a creature named the Ogre, and is known as a creature that devours any person in its path. And these two poor guards were doing their jobs when one guard had heard something behind them. But when he turned around, it was the ogre eating his friend. This has to be the most nightmare-fueling panel in all of Baki, hands down. And of course the ogre had killed him as well. And there was this girl that was with Retsu, and she saw her friend and she was like, "Oh, what's up?" And when he didn't respond, she had realized, oh, his head was on backward and his entire ribcage was left exposed. And there was the ogre, dismantling the bodies of the people that he killed. This ogre may not be on par with Yujiro or Pickle, but he has the grip strength of Hanayama and the muscles of Biscuit Oliva, so he's still gonna be a great opponent. So Retsu instantly went down there to fight him. The ogre threw a strike that Retsu blocked, and then Retsu proceeded to throw a barrage of kicks along with 4 strikes to the jaw. Retsu kept countering the ogre's attack. He then told the ogre that he was about to show him hell. Then Retsu had did the same thing that Baki did against Pickle, making the ogre grovel in pain. And the ogre began backing up. Then he transformed into what I believe is his final form. The ogre then prepared to hit Retsu with a tackle, a move that has destroyed entire forests as well as whole towns. But when the ogre had used this attack on Retsu, Retsu had blown the ogre backwards using his own momentum against him. And he also followed that up by hitting the ogre with a hook. There was a staff, and for the ogre, it was the soul of its ancestors, his most valuable treasure. And Retsu had came to the realization that the ogre was just trying to protect its ancestry. So he gave the ogre the staff and ended the fight. For once, there was a happy ending to a fight in Baki. And Retsu even fought his old master, and it all started when he was ambushed by a group of skeletons. However, Retsu made light work out of these skeletons and easily took them out, up until this one skeleton jumped on top of Retsu's weapon. This was Retsu's old master, and when Retsu had thrown an attack, he blocked Retsu's attack and then threw a tornado kick. And it was revealed that since this guy lost his body and became a skeleton, he has now become 85% faster as a result of that, which gave him a speed beyond a human's comprehension. And as someone who has broken a human's limits, Chinese martial arts were just a roadblock to overcome. And the skeleton was actually overwhelming Retsu at first with his attacks, when Retsu all of a sudden got a flashback to him being fearful of this old master. Retsu then punched the skeleton's ribcage, getting his arm stuck in the process, leading to Retsu having to tank a couple punches. The skeleton then prepared his strongest attack thus far, with his bones being comparable to a diamond, and it had seemed like he hit Retsu. Hell, even he was celebrating, but Retsu had actually used a high-level technique called Shaori, which made his attack feel like striking a feather. And Retsu then threw the final strike, breaking the skeleton into pieces and ending the fight with his victory. And once again, let me know what you think of the Retsu Isekai in the comment section below. And if you would like to interact with me, my community, show off your art, drop some memes, or maybe even self-promote, then you can join the Discord that can be found in the description box below. And if you would like to support me, you can subscribe and leave a like on the video. It's completely free on your end and helps me out way more than you may think. But that's gonna be all for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!